Hi friends, welcome back to the Big Joy of Learning with Bijoyji. Before going to our next session on vlookup, we will discuss a few other functions which could be useful in our journey forward. Most of the functions in Google Sheets return a single value as result, which could be a number, logical true or false, a text, etc. There are some functions which return a set of values instead of a single value. We call it an array. Such functions help us in getting values in multiple cells by writing a function in a single cell instead of repeating the same function on multiple cells. Let us try such a function with an example to understand this better. In most tables, we will have our first column for serial number, which represents the number of rows in the table. We use different methods to fill these numbers. By typing these numbers manually, by pulling down the values from one row to the other rows, by adding one to the value in the previous cell, etc. We can also use the if function to show the serial number only when there are values in another cell. All these methods, even though simple, have its own disadvantages. In case we delete a cell or row in between, the cells below start showing errors. In Google Sheets, we have a function called sequence. The syntax of sequence function is equal to sequence, rows, columns, start value, step. The first parameter is a required value which represents the number of rows the sequence has to be generated. The other parameters are optional ones which take the default value as 1 if not defined separately in the function. Let us try different combinations of the parameters and see the result. Sequence 10 generates the sequence from 1 to 10 in 10 rows. Sequence 10, 1 will give the same result because the default value of the column was 1 when it was not defined separately. Let us try with another number, say 2. You can see the sequence are generated in 2 columns and 10 rows. The sequence 10, 2, 10 will start the sequence from 10 and fill 10 rows and 2 columns. But the starting number will be 10. Sequence 10, 2, 10, 2 will change the sequence increment value to 2 instead of the default value 1. As you can see, the sequence function is written only on the first cell. All the other cells get value from it because the sequence function returns an array as result. Let us delete one row in between and see what happens. As you noticed, deleting rows or inserting a row in between has not affected the sequence at all. Let us try this on one of our tables. Our item master table has 9 rows, so sequence 9 will serve our purpose. Let us imagine we are adding more rows to the table and want to increment the sequence automatically depending on the value on the other column. In this case, the sequence function depends on the value in the column item code. So, let us pass the count of the item code as a row parameter for the sequence function and try. For this, we will use the function count A. If you have headings for your table, just reduce the number of heading rows so that they are not counted in the sequence. Here, we have 2 rows as heading, so we will put -2 in the value returned by the count A function. See how the sequence is automatically generated when we add a new item code. Please note that whenever we use an array function, all the cells to which the result output is needed has to be blank. Otherwise, the function throws an error. For instance, if the sequence function has 3 rows and 2 columns, the 3 rows and 2 columns adjacent to the cell where we write the function has to be blank. There are several other methods to generate the sequence dynamically. Try it out yourself and understand how the sequence function works. We will discuss array functions in our next session. Stay tuned with me. This is Bijoy signing off for now. We will catch up with some helpful, interesting topics in our next session soon. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do it now and press on the bell icon to get notified on new releases. If you feel the content of the video is useful to you, please do not forget to like, comment and share it with your friends and family. Thank you for your time and have a big joy of learning.